In this paper on Xenos, I'll be concentrating on ideas around the uses and functions of metaphor in language as critical form that carries the weight of the unconscious that we can transfer, as in transference, understanding and knowledge of that part of the mind. In particular, the flow of associations from xenos, foreigner, outsider, stranger, and in particular, the word tramontane, a person who lives on the other side of the mountain, will be examined. But xenos in Greek is a very interesting word because not only does it mean all those things that I've just said, but xenos also means guest or hospitality. So the Greek word is beautifully double-edged, and in a way it's a worthy introduction to my paper, which will be full of double edges. St.Christopher, the patron saint of travelers, was in legend a 6.3-meter giant who decided to serve the greatest king there was. Noticing that the king he found to serve crossed himself at the mention of the devil, he realized that that king lived in fear, so he departed to search out a more powerful master. And in time, learning that the devil feared Christ, he decided to serve Christ. Lena, we can have a picture of St. Christopher. A hermit suggested, due to his bodily strength, he could serve Christ by assisting people cross a dangerous river. And I expect you know the story of a little child asked his help to get across. Yet on crossing the river, he felt that his load weighed him down considerably. On reaching the far shore, he said, "The whole world could have been as heavy as you on my shoulders." The child Christ revealed that he had had the whole world on his shoulders, as well as him who made it, revealing that Christopher was now serving Christ the King by carrying all of it. Holding that metaphor in mind, let us examine an oppositional position. So you can take that down, Lena, now. Goethe wrote the poem The Erl King, which Schubert set to music. Both wonderful evocations of something that I also think is very disturbing. The poem depicts a father riding through a forest carrying his son to his chest, who cried in fear of the Erl King, the spirit of wind and forest. The father dismissed his son's fears as mist, pressed him closer to himself and galloped on faster. Arriving home, he discovered his son dead in his arms. The exciting ride, the galloping horse with father tightening his grip on the boy, can be thought of as a cipher that describes paedophilia, also invariably dismissed as just missed. The Erl King, like the Pied Piper, or the Ratcatcher of Hamelin, is the pagan lover of children. This subject is covered by mist, as it is invariably, usually invisible, until it's made into a picture. I bring these two stories together as they both contain the metaphor of holding. The early holding required by the child, that is the task of mother, that in time becomes a psychic frame, containing, holding creative life, and its devil opposite, represented by the Erl King, is the perverse erotism of holding directed towards paedophilia and death. It is in Winnicott's work that analytic holding has profound resonances of carrying, supporting a child with protectiveness, care, calm, and the maternal ecstasy of the burden. The good enough mother provides and creates continuity in the baby's experience of the world. The dropping of the baby is the rupturing of the continuity that needs to be mended and repaired by mother or not. Later, it becomes reframed in analysis. Paedophilia is an extreme obverse of loving holding, and is the enactment of hatred without repair. Again, such unconscious negative states can also become available for engagement in analysis. The Christ child is known to us in the countless images of the Madonna and Child, containing the commencements of the direction from birth to death, that refines the image of the Madonna in the Pietà, again holding the body of her son, but now transformed into the dead Christ. Here the structure of the early scene of the Madonna and Child finds its structural counterpart of her holding a dead grown-up man. As T.S. Eliot writes in East Coker, "In the beginning is my end," is metaphor for the inevitability of death as a known fact, whilst the rest in between is the actualities of a life lived.